The headlines you have been reading about the most recent fighting between India and Pakistan are wrong. Recently, India and Pakistan have started shooting missiles and drones at each other, and since both powers are nuclear armed, that's pretty scary. Most commentary has been that this is just more saber-rattling over the disputed area of Kashmir, but I'm going to tell you why I believe that that's not true, and that the true reason behind this fighting is actually due to a lethal miscalculation. An April 22nd terror attack in Indian Kashmir killed dozens of people, and understandably, the Indian public was really upset about this. They demanded action, and eventually, India started launching strikes on Pakistan. Now, this is different than most times in the past when terror has struck India, because India has always dealt with these attacks by showing a lot of restraint. The Indian government has a culture of multilateral solutions and holding back from violence. However, over the last 20 years, things have dramatically changed. India's economy and its international standing and global power have greatly increased. Conversely, Pakistan's economy and their standing in the world order have greatly diminished. Pakistan's economy and governmental institutions have fallen so far that their people are seriously suffering. And this has been due to a number of factors, including economic mismanagement, corruption, and global climate change. Now, Pakistan's animosity with India and its geographical location in a conflict-rich part of the world has given the Pakistani military a privileged position in the country. And this has combined with the corruption to make the generals obscenely wealthy. There are over 50 huge companies that are operated by the military. We're talking conglomerates that do everything from hotels to snack manufacturing, with the profits going not to the state, but directly into the generals' pockets. Meanwhile, the general public is very poor, and the situation has been exacerbated by global climate change, which has resulted in Pakistan experiencing some severe droughts. A lot of people in Pakistan don't have access to clean, drinkable water. When the most basic vital resources like water or food become inaccessible, people start to have a lot less tolerance for corruption and wealth inequality. So the generals' thrones were starting to shake. And what's a tried and trusted method of quashing internal strife? Well, find an external enemy. Pakistan's strategy of asymmetric warfare against India through the use of terrorism and separatism is well documented, and their close ties with terrorist groups like Lashkar-e-Taiba are a matter of record. Now, since India has always acted with restraint in the past, and since Pakistan has a nuclear shield, and since the Pakistani people have been told for decades that the cause of Kashmiri separatism is a Pakistani national cause, I think the generals kicked up the hornet's nest again and instigated a terrorist attack in India. I think the generals were expecting the Indians to clamp down on Kashmir, or at worst, that there would be some cross-border shelling, which could be used as a rallying cry for the Pakistani people. However, as India's position and power on the world stage have grown, so has its nationalistic sentiment. The population has shifted politically right, and the current Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, is a hawk. In 2019, the Modi government enacted several administrative changes that have brought Kashmir more under Indian control. While terrorism and violence hasn't been eradicated, it has decreased, and the Indians were seeing results. As such, when there was a new attack on April 22nd, the Indian public was, understandably, really upset, and they wanted the violence to be brought under control. Since the group that perpetrated the attack was closely associated with Lashkar-e-Taiba, which has close ties to Pakistan, India basically told Pakistan to leash their dog. The Pakistanis dithered. They said, we don't really have any control over this. And at that point, the Indian government, even though it had a history of restraint, basically said, well, we can't keep putting up with never-ending terror attacks just because Pakistan has a nuclear shield. So they launched Operation Sindoor, the most recent round of fighting between India and Pakistan. Now, India claims that its attacks were calculated to be non-escalatory, and Pakistan claims that they intentionally bombed civilians. I don't think we'll know for sure for some time after the dust has settled, but the fighting did escalate to air battles and an attack on the Pakistani port of Lahore. Now, as of filming, there is a ceasefire, but the peace is fragile, and there have already been multiple allegations of violations. Moreover, insurgent tribes within Pakistan itself are offering to ally with India in joint attacks on Pakistan. So, contrary to all the headlines, I don't believe that this round of fighting is actually about Kashmir itself. I think that this was an attempt to shore up domestic support for both countries rather than a serious attempt to break Kashmir away from India. And it has resulted in Pakistan being in a worse position than before, and the world becoming even more of a scarier place in 2025. Thank you. Please subscribe for more analysis and history.